Hey guys, Richie here from RW Hobbies. Welcome back to my October bench update. So, firstly, I gotta mention I put a video up a week or two ago with some new kit releases, a little slide deck, and absolutely blown away with the how it performed on YouTube in terms of views, likes, comments, just engagement. It's by far the most successful video I've posted on YouTube in over 6 years doing YouTube. So it just blew me away. So I'll definitely continue that series. My game plan is every 3 to 4 weeks, probably every 4 weeks, post a short little 15-20 minute video of about 20 new releases I spot on the internet to share with you guys. Different genres, different scales, just kind of mix it all up. Keep it to about 20 because I like my videos 15 to 20 minutes long. I don't want to run like 100 slides and bore you guys for like an hour or two. So that's what the game plan with that is. Again, thank you. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. So also going to mention thank you to all those guys since the video of my Facebook group, which will be down below the link, who have posted stuff they found, which I didn't even know, like Great Hobbies F-14B in 48 scale, stuff like that. So thank you guys for posting that. I'll include those in a slide deck next time around in, 2 or 3 weeks' time. So yeah, so bench update time. So again, I've had a ton of new people, so let me kind of go through what we kind of do here, a little bit of an agenda. So I'm going to go through what I built, what I'm working on, and what I purchased. And I purchased quite a few things, and actually I just got UPS drop a package off about an hour ago. So we'll do, first time ever, we'll do a live unboxing here on the video too, so you see what's inside the box, which is actually a pretty cool kit. So yeah, that is it. So as always, being very productive in the cave. It's been a busy month, although the past week I've not really done too much. Busy at work and other things, but do have 2 projects finished, and the first one you can see a sneak down here, and that is the Tiger I from HobbyBoss, 16th scale. Now here she is, and you can kind of see the size, and I had a lot of fun on this. It's a lot of plastic for $90 US dollars, and I think it's a good deal. Very impressive piece. Now I'm gonna probably sell this one because it's just way too big for me to keep in the cave. It's, it's a doorstop, so I'm gonna move it on. But yeah, it was a great kit. So what I'm gonna do is I've done a 4-part video build series on this, and I'm gonna insert a little video right now from outside, which you can see it better in the daylight. So I'll kind of talk over as we put a video up. I'll kind of talk around it a little bit here. So it's very much Partworks-esque in that you kind of build a lot of screws and different parts in here. You're not like the whole hole itself is like 4 screws holding together, no glue. It was really fun to work on. It didn't. I expected to use a ton of paint, and I did. I did a nice pre-shading coat, and then the main color I put nice and thin. I used one tin of Tamiya LP lacquer paint. I still have some left for the whole tank, so didn't get through gallons at all. So one little jar, 10 mil, whatever it is, thin down, worked a treat for the whole tank here. So yeah, it's a really cool kit. There are 2 issues I can remember at least. The gun mantle here, there was a gap behind it, so you can either fill the gap with some plastic card or whatever, but instead I just glued it in place, the barrel, and I kind of put it in the middle, so you got like a couple of mils each side, so you can't see inside, so there is no gap. There's a gap, but you can't see inside, so I kind of glued it in place. Plus, it wasn't very firm; it's a little floppy, the barrel, so I kind of glued it in place, and yeah, it still rotates, but it stays in place. The other little thing was the wheels. They didn't want to go onto suspension arms. It was so tight, I'd break it all. So I drilled out the holes a little bit bigger, but I probably made it a little bit too big. So the wheels kind of just all fell off. So I had to super glue the wheels on. So no problem at all. The tank tracks I mentioned previously actually were fun to build, but there were 4 ejection pin marks on every single link. So I think I filled like 800 holes and sanded and stuff. But it was just a lot of fun. I weathered it lightly. I didn't want to go too crazy in mud and stuff. Just light weathering with various things as you see on the video build series. Just clay wash, some neat oils, and a pin wash with oil. And that was pretty much it, really, I think. The clay wash I airbrushed on at the bottom, some grime. Again, so you can kind of see. Again, very lightly weathered, but really had fun with this one. Yeah, and what else? Oh, Zimrit. So first time ever I created Zimrit. So you get Zimrit tools, like little photo etch, kind of like scrapers in the set included. And I tried some usual Vallejo putty, and it worked pretty good, but it's too thin. I think it'd be perfect for like 72nd or 35th scale, but being 16th, I needed something a little bit more chunky. So recently, having worked on the house, I had some spackle or some drywall compound, the stuff you get from the local hardware store that goes on pink and it dries clear, like dries white. So I just smeared all that on really roughly and just run my tool over it, and actually worked really well. The only issue I had with it, I didn't do any clear coats or seal anything, and when I added the decals and tried to put some microsol on, it kind of took away the paint, and it kind of, you see a kind of white spackle behind it. So that was the only issue with it, but it actually worked really great. So first time doing Zimmerit, and really happy with this one. I'm actually probably going to sell this because it's massive. I got nowhere to put this thing. It's really big. I'm sure somebody enjoyed this in their collection somewhere. So just want to get moved along. So this big beast. That's the first thing I finished. Second, well, actually that's the second thing I think in order. But the other thing I finished was the F-14 Persian Cat by HobbyBoss, which is right there. See over my shoulder. It's a little tricky to move around. I don't want to break it. So again, as before, I'm going to insert a little video from outside where you can really see the paint colors on there. This was all about the paint work on this for me. It was a beautiful kind of camo scheme, and I really enjoyed painting it. It was a very detailed kit. You could have the radome open. You have the gun bay. What else? Various other parts. It has engines, but you're not really going to see the engines. But it was not a bad kit. Definitely not as good as Tamiya kit. There was a few little minor fit issues here and there, but it went together. Not that bad. The only thing with that one is the landing gear. It's badly designed with the HobbyBoss kit. You have to put the gear in kind of early on as you build up the fuselage. But the problem with if you did that would be to get the camo lines and stuff, because if you know F-14, the main gear is almost touching, it's very close to the fuselage on the back. So to get masking tape in behind it and try to paint it and stuff would be virtually impossible. Plus handling all those delicate parts and stuff will just break off during, assembly and painting and that kind of stuff. So as always, I left them off. So at the end, I glued them on. Had to remove a couple of pins and just kind of super glued them in, and it was no problem at all with that one. But that was a bad part with that one. The gear just isn't very good on the HobbyBoss kit, I thought. The second thing was, which is my own problem, I've not built an aircraft in a few months, and I usually always put a nose weight in just as standard. And HobbyBoss don't really mention anything about it. So I forgot to put nose weight in, but it does stand just on equilibrium, but any little touch is going to flip back. So if you do build a HobbyBoss Tomcat, definitely put, quarter or half an ounce of nose weight in the front there, just to kind of shore it up a little bit. I didn't, like I said, but it just stays there perfectly well. But really happy with the colors. I used the aero masks, which I have right here actually. And these kind of reusable, so I stuck them back on, and somebody else is building this, I'm happy to send them to you guys and you can reuse them. But really good, really easy. It's not a very complex camo scheme, but with this, it just makes it super easy going around and painting it. And using what now is probably my favorite paints, and that's the Mr. Hobby Lacquer, which have been around for years. But so somebody recently put a comment on one of my videos asking about lacquer paints, and there's some good ones out there. Like Tamiya LP are really nice lacquer paints, but they're more like the primary colors and car colors. When it comes to aircraft and armor and stuff, they don't really have those colors. Although for this one, I did use LP, the DAC light brown or dark yellow, and they do have a light ghost gray. But for me, it's very it's very bluey. It doesn't look quite right to me. So Tamiya LP, great paints. Hataka lacquer paints are really good. You can mix them yourself. I'm a big fan, but again, it's a little hard to get hold of. They have a great color range, but here in the US, Sprue Brothers is pretty much the only place. So unless I'm buying from Sprue Brothers, it's hard to get hold of those. MRP paints, same deal. Sprue Brothers has them in the US. Good paints, depending on the color. The problem with them, they're pre-thinned, which makes it kind of easy, but at the same time, some colors are too thin. It takes a lot of paint for coverage. Especially I think it's greens, and I've used the RAF Desert Pink before, and I had to use it on a 72nd scale Tornado. I almost used the whole bottle of that stuff because it was just so thin. It didn't get coverage at all on my pre-shading. But generally, it's again great paint. The blues and grays are fantastic. I do have quite a few, but again, hard to get hold of. Not as easy as my preferred choice right now, which is Mr. Hobby. Now, Mr. Hobby does two types. They do Aqueous, and they do just Mr. Hobby. I'm not one in front of me, so I can't quite see what's on the bottom on the tin. But there's two. It's Aqueous, which is this is like Tamiya. It's like an alcohol-based acrylic synthetic kind of paint. which smells very bad. And then they have lacquer, pure lacquer, which is, I think you normally I think H is, if it has H on the number, it is the this one, the synthetic, and if it has C in front of it, it's the lacquer. And they have hundreds of colors, every color you can think of, with Israeli, German, British, American. Great color range, easy to get hold of, cheap. I mean, you're looking like $2.50, $3 a jar, and then thin these 50/50, and readily available. So my latest go-to, I think, is the Mr. Hobby lacquer paints, and a couple of projects I've got coming, we'll be using those. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now with paint. But MRP, Hitaka Lacquer, LP, Tamiya, all great paints. Lacquer definitely for sure. If you're new to the channel, not a big acrylic fan. It's just hard work for me for airbrushing. You get a lot of stop, starting, spinning. Lacquer just goes on so beautifully. You get a nice thin coat. You can do different post shading effects, pre shading effects. It just dries really quickly with Mr. Hobby Rapid Thinner. It almost dries instantly. So that's really my go-to. I don't very rarely use acrylics. I do have acrylic Vallejo for like hand painting, like for figures and stuff. And I recently just got sneak preview, but thinking over here, I've recently picked up Tamiya's enamel paints, which you can't really get anywhere outside Japan, I don't think. So I got these at AliExpress, again about $2.50 a jar, and these are really nice. You see, I got some primary colors here, but what I got these for is for detail painting. So in like your cockpit tubs. So I know sometimes in cockpit tubs we've been talking about using these Posca pens, which are okay. Some of mine are kind of going off a little bit. The white one getting really thin, even though I shake it a lot. But these just work really great to enamel. So really thick, nice to paint with, hand paint with. And you see it kind of stuck together a little bit here. But I got white, yellow. It's the same number as a regular. So XF2 enamel is same as XF2, which is a white synthetic alcohol paint too. So it all kind of ties in the numbers. So I got those, I got some X8, I got some blacks, like semi-gloss black, regular black, and I got some metallics I've had for years. Again, if you're doing bikes, these are really good, the enamels, like Tamiya motorcycles. So again, just tiny little details, the enamel paints are really good. So I highly recommend those. So that's what I've finished. So yeah, Persian Cat's done, this is done, a little talk about paint. Let me kind of move this out of the way a little bit so we're not creating some space. What else? Super glue. I've used these a lot recently, and that's the you see on the camera. This is a Loctite stuff you get at Home Depot or Lowe's. And it's nice. It's a gel one because the other one's too thin. It runs everywhere, and you kind of squeeze it gently, and it's very good precision control. And these aren't very expensive. I was kind of using these, but then it ran out really quickly. Like I literally just did like the tank and a couple of them. Tank and the a little bit on the F-14. Barely any super glue, and this thing ran out. I was like, so I opened it up, and lo and behold, what it is, if you can see on the camera here, it's just one of those tiny little super glue bottles. See how much super glue getting in there? It's a tiny little thing. And they put this giant packaging around it. So you're thinking you're getting a big dispenser full of super glue, but really you're only getting that tiny little thing right there. I don't think you can take these off and replace them either. So yeah, so who'd known? So I thought you got a lot more glue than that, than the tiny little one. But yeah, so I'm still looking for good super glue. Bob Smith's is okay, but there's always a never-ending search for super glue, I guess. So that's just found it interesting. Thought to show you guys how little you actually get in these dispensers. Sanders. Past month I've been trying various sanders. I think I mentioned it before. Got the Flory model sander right here. I've been using these for years, and early on they were great. Last couple of years, definitely some manufacturing issues or whatever. I'm not sure what the problem is, but they just fall apart very easily. The last batch I've got, last couple of years, not very good quality, and lo and behold, they actually, whatever reason, they stopped producing them recently. So I did get a few other little sanders to try out. So I've had these a while, these big sponges, and these are the Infinity ones. 200 and 600. What I'm finding with the grits, I've kind of dialed in my grits. Now, it's nice, all these sanders I'm about to show you have the grits written on, so I can get a good feel of what I like. And what I'm finding is, for general cleanup, I'm liking 400 grit. And for heavy duty work, like say you got steps and fuselages or working with resin like that vegan. About 200, 220 is a really good grit I'm finding for that heavy duty stuff. And what I'm doing is with a heavy duty, I'm going to kitchen sink or the bathroom sink and wet sanding it. So having running water and wet sanding it with these guys. And yeah, so 200 for heavy duty and about 400 for my general kind of sprue gate cleanup general stuff is kind of my sweet spot is what I found. So these big sponges I've used for a while. These are great for like, they're not good for detail work, obviously because of size, but they're great for kind of handling, again, like whole wing roots or fuselage sides or really big kind of areas. Again, the 200 works great for just removing plastic basically to get down, you know, if you have a step or whatever, like in the back of an F-18, you always get a little bit of a step just to clean it back. And then the 600 is a little bit too fine, but so I have 2 and a 6, I've been using those. So yeah, so they have to use for sure. Picked up some UMP Ultimate Modeling Products sanders. Now, these working pretty good. So I've got this guy, which I can't remember. I think it's a 200 on each side possibly. So I have this sponge, big one, and I have a little sponge, which I think is the same. It's just smaller. And I have this guy, which is 400. Now, the 400 is working pretty good. I do like the shape, actually. It's good because you have a smaller side for very detailed stuff, or you can use the other side for more bigger things. So for general kind of sprue cleanup, again, this guy right here with the, it's like a yellow sensor, is definitely works pretty good. So I've been trying those ones out. And then I picked up Infinity, who make these big sponges, and now made smaller ones, which are more manageable. So I picked up a multi-pack here. And these are called the Premium Zebra Sanding Sticks. And you got 100s, 220s, 400s. Well, you got 150, 220, 400, 600, and 800. So it's like a sample pack. So it's really good to try different grits. Again, as I mentioned, the 400 is my sweet spot. So I mean, this is working good for sprue cleanup too. The 400. I don't think I've tried any of the other ones yet. Let me see. I can tell. So 800 is very fine. Again, 220 seems like a bit of a good one. 150, 600. For the first time, I'm just feeling these sanding sticks. I'm sure it's not great television, right? So I think 220 and again 220 and 400 in these would probably be my go-to. Maybe 150 like a chainsaw to rip apart if you got some really heavy duty stuff. But if it was me, and I was gonna buy a pack of just like 3 or 4, whatever they come in of each flavor, I'd probably get the 220 and the 400 again. So that for me, I know it's personal preference, but these two are probably my go-to. So what do I think about all this? So it's a little early to tell between the Ultimate Model Products and the Infinity. I'm still using these, so I'm using the next couple of kits. I'm going to still be using these guys, both of them, and then I think in maybe about, I don't know, maybe a month's time, I have a better idea which I prefer. My only concern with the Infinity ones, it just seems to look like sandpaper, which obviously what it is, but I'm worried it's going to wear away pretty quickly. As you can see, my 400, you can see a mark on here. And I just don't know how long these things are going to last in terms of, whether it's going to be a kit or two and it's done. Whereas I think and then my concern with these ones are, again, I've got some of this kind of paper started to come off the back coming off the foam. I've used this one lightly too. So I guess they have pros and cons for each. Maybe it's have both, I don't know. But I'm going to definitely keep going on these guys for the next month or two and then see kind of what I prefer. I still have a huge box of Flory Model stuff, but moving forward, I definitely want to see, what the future is with these sanders. So which way I want to go. So try different ones out. And let me know in the comments below, what sanders are you guys using? Have you tried the these sticks or the UM? I keep UMP and ISM, like it's same company. Well, ISM's kind of social media side of UMP. I always get confused with lettering. So it's UMP, Ultimate Modeling Products, sanders, if I misspoke earlier. So yeah, they seem pretty cool. Yeah, it's just really about dialing in and finding what you like. Got this guy here too, which may be the same. Yeah, I think it's the same one. This is an older one, and this is the new one. But this seems a really nice grit too. And I did get one other Ultimate product. I got this polishing, which works good for like canopy seams and clear glass, where you got the very fine on this side, and then also just a squeaky kind of white one on this side. And there we go. So that's my seminar on sounders. What I've been working on, so I finished that one. This guy's kind of stalled, and this is what you remember from last week, and that is the last month, and that's it. This is the Black Rifle Salvinos Jr. Camaro ZL1. Got it decaled. I think we talked about it last time around. The decals were pretty tough to put on. Got them down nonetheless, and it looks pretty cool. Gave it a coat of LP semi-gloss, whatever color that is. I think it's 23, no, 24. Yeah, LP24. And went down no problem at all over the decals and stuff, but I think it's still a little bit too shiny. I think I might need to put some matte down, some LP 86 or some 23. Just some matte, because I think it's a little too... The car in real life isn't shiny at all, so I think it's still a little too shiny. I want to matte it back a little bit. So I did that a month ago, as you remember. And since then, I've been working a little bit on the interior, but I kind of lost the mojo. So built the interior, the engine block. A couple of bits are broken off. The fan belts at the front broke. It was a little bit messy. It's, you know, it's clean up, a little bit kind of flashy. I just kind of lost the mojo on it a little bit. So I got that far with the interior, and I did the wheels to gunmetal. Again, I think they might be too shiny. They might need to be matted back as well. But yeah, so I got that far, and it's supposed to be sat there for like 2 or 3 weeks. I just don't have the motivation to work on this one. So, you know, as always with the hobbies, even if you're not feeling it, just put it aside and work on something else. So this is going to be put away, shelf of doom, and I'll come back to it at some point in the future. I enjoy doing the paint work and the decals, but now it's just the interior stuff. It just doesn't quite interest me very much. So yeah, unfortunately, so that's where we're at with that guy. And what I've purchased finally, a few cool things, and let me kind of talk through why I love Tamiya. And that is, if you're a long time follower of the channel, you know a few years ago when I built some cars, I used splash paints, and those things are beyond hot. I'm not sure if they changed it since then, but they basically ruined my crazy plastic, ruined the bodies, and I've had kits. I think when you did my stash tour, you saw I have a number of kits that sat there with where I started with the bodywork first, screwed it up, and then nowhere to go from there. So I reached out to Tamiya, and they have everybody. They have the best parts department. Tamiya USA, awesome. So emailed them and said, hey, you know, when instructions got part numbers, do you have this in stock? And he said, yeah, we have it. Now through COVID, they were pretty lacking like last couple of years, but now they have like pretty much fully stocked of parts. So I got replacement bodies for my Skyline, my Jägermeister Porsche, and my Mercedes AMG GT3. And also with the GT3, I needed the sprue A because it has the bumpers and some other parts went onto this. So I got all of this together, and the price was a whopping about $3 per body. So with $6 shipping for all these 4 pieces, it cost me like $20. So I spent $20, and now I've basically made whole again 3 kits. And some of these are pretty expensive kits too. I think the Jägermeister goes for $40 now. This guy, I think it's $50, if not more, the AMG. So I got Tamiya rocks, got the parts really quickly, just paid with my credit card, and they say $20, and I got 3 bodies and sprue A for the AMG. So you can't go wrong with that, right? Kit-wise, recently got this guy. Saw Mr. Ward build this one on YouTube, Scale Motor channel, and he did a fantastic job, and I love the car and I love the scheme. So where is it better on this camera? So the Audi R8 from Nunu in this Macau, very nice. I don't know what to explain it, but this basic kind of camo kind of pattern. So got this kit, I thought it looked really cool. So that one. My Great Wall Hobbies F-15, which I'll get around the building pretty soon, I think. Quinta Studios. So again, it's tiny. I'll show you on this camera. It's the F-15C pad upgrade. So basically it's where they added iPads to the cockpit tub. And it's not just usual Quinta Studios. You get a few little resin extras, which I've never seen before from Quinta. So you've got your usual instruments right there, you know, your 3D printed. But then you've got a new instrument panel in resin, and you've got the shroud, glare shield, whatever it is, that goes on top, again in resin. So you're getting resin parts, and you're getting the 3D printed instruments. So I thought that was a really cool upgrade. And the decals I have for my F-15 are the kind of just before they retired it from Lakenheath, so late. So I'm sure the late F-15C will have the iPad upgrade. I call it an iPad. It's probably not an iPad. I'm sure it's some kind of high-tech avionics, but yeah, pad upgrade. So that was something interesting. Like I said, I've never seen Quinta Studios throwing like little resin parts like that before. So, and that wasn't super expensive. It was the same price as their other stuff, really. So pick that up. Need to put it in the box, keep it safe. So I get the F-15, which again will be maybe three builds away. I'll be using that one. Now, I'm not sure. I think I might have talked about this last month, the decal sheet. I don't remember. But I'll mention it again. So I got the Caracal models. I got this on eBay pretty cheap, and this is discontinued. But I've got the Air Power MiG-29. So we've got various ones. We've got Bangladesh. We've got India. I think we're Romania. We've got Burma or Myanmar, which is one I'm going with. This one right here. I'm not sure which this one is. But yeah, so I got that because going back in time, if I remember, I put a little picture in. One of my first builds when I got back in the hobby about 8 years ago was a 72nd scale Trumpeter MiG-29 I did in Burma, Myanmar markings. And I recently actually just threw it away when I moved house like 6 months ago. So it's a really cool scheme. So I thought, you know what, let me redo that one. But instead of going 72nd, let's do 48th and do a little bigger. So got that. And then to go along with that, the kit choice is this guy, which is Great Wall Hobbies MiG-29 yearly type. I'm not sure exactly which one it is, but I figured being Burma, they probably have an older than rather latest MiG-29. This is a great kit. It's been out for years now, well, several years. And it has some nice markings out of the box. Especially shark's mouth right here. But this kit is beautiful. It's the plastic's perfect. It's I think this is the first kit really that came out with like one-piece weapons and stuff. It's fully detailed engines. As you can see, the plastic here. I have the Camo Slovakian one, so I've done a review of this kind of similar kit of this one, a different version. A lot smaller than I expected. I didn't realize it'd be so small. I've got the 32nd scale one up here, but see, that's the underside of the fuselage. Just a beautiful kit. So got that one, and this is going to be in the Myanmar blue scheme, the blue camo, which is going to look beautiful. Again, I can weather it up a little bit like I did with the Iranian Persian Cat. Now, I was going to start this today, and I put a post up saying I was going to start it, but I've just received something in the box we'll look at, which I'm going to start right away. So this one's going to be pushed back 1 or 2, and I'm going to start this aircraft, which you'll see in a minute. So yeah, Great Wall Hobbies. If you want to buy Great Wall Hobby, if you're in Europe or US like I am, I'm in the US, don't buy them locally. They're really, really expensive. These are Chinese made. Look on AliExpress or eBay. I find typically AliExpress might be a little bit cheaper, but lately the shipping costs have gone quite high. So AliExpress or eBay, and you'll save probably $20 at least on a kit from Great Wall Hobbies. I think I paid like $65 for this one. I think you're looking at $85 now. That's shipped, $65 shipped from China, and ordered it from China, and it came pretty quickly. I think less than 3 weeks I had it. So yeah, it's a little bit. I think if you're paying like a little bit higher shipping costs on AliExpress, you seem to get send airmail, and you seem to get a little bit quicker. You're not sending by ocean. Before they send all the stuff free shipping on ocean, it used to take months. Now it's taking seems like 2 or 3 weeks. So this guy right here. Next up, which I'm not sure is going to fit on my desk, but I got a box. And this is what my friends at UPS just dropped off. And this is a package I ordered from Scale Hobbyist. Now, if you're in the US, I'm not endorsed by any means, but if you're in the US and you haven't bought from them, check out the website. Now, my thing with Scale Hobbyist is their website is amazing. It's so easy to find stuff, so well sorted, so well organized. And they've not changed that website in 15 years, at least. I bought stuff from airliners from them 15 years ago, and the website looks exactly the same. The pricing's the lowest around. They're still shipping for like $10, $9.99, and it's just so easy to find stuff. It's very intuitive, very great website. So they obviously just nailed it so long ago, and and it's with their growth, it's just, I mean, just continues. So it's just awesome. Great, again, great prices, great service. We get stuff within the week, and great website. So Scale Hobbyist, check them out. So let me get the paper out, and we'll go through this here. All right. Actually, let me move the box. I got some room to work on the desk here. Zona saw. You've seen these in my videos. This one's is a 24 teeth one, and it might be the same as this one, actually. So I had this one before. I had this for a few years now. It's kind of lost its bite. So this one's going to go in the trash. It's not cutting very well. So I bought a new one. I think it's... Not sure. It might be exactly... This one might be a little bit finer. I don't know. But these are great for cutting resin blocks. Like if you... Like, not canopies. The seats. Ejection seats. So they come on like the resin kind of molding block just to cut them off. These Zona saws, very strong. Wood handle. Metal, and when I tell you the price of this, you're going to be shocked. When I bought this a few years ago, this was like $5. This one today was, I can actually, let me look at the sheet. I can tell you exactly what it was. Where did I put it? It was $7.19 for a quality tool. Just a great deal. They do different types. They do a thinner one too, which I have is this guy. But I find it has that nub there. It's not really great because what I cut through is normally deeper than what the saw is, the blade is. So the bigger one kind of works better. So I do have this one too. This is very fine. But, you know, I think they're really designed for like balsa wood and that kind of stuff. They do cut resin, but it just takes its toll. So every 2 or 3 years replace it. But when it's like $7, it's not a big deal. So this one's going to get retired, and got myself a new Zona saw. And yeah, really good. Again, check them out. All different types of saws, different blades and stuff. But for the value, or the wood handle, I mean, nothing can go wrong. All right. Next up. Nothing too exciting, but we're going through some sundries. We've got the plastic putty from Vallejo. It feels very cold, so I guess maybe it's cold out today in the UPS truck. But I used most of my last one on the King Tiger, on the King Tiger, Tiger 1. So replenishment. It's not. I do like Tamiya putty better, but this definitely has a place. And this is water soluble too, which is really good. So I like this for certain areas where you can just use a Q-tip with water and just wipe away the excess rather than sanding. So Vallejo putty. Next up. My primer of choice, I get through tons of this. Mr. Surfacer 1500 Black. You see it all the time on the channel. I love priming in black and then coming back with white to create like a shadow coat and then paint lightly over the top of it. So 1500 Black, and I've also picked up the 1500 Grey, a couple of those too. Grey certainly has its place as well. Not always don't want to go dark, but sometimes, you know, if I like colors, I just want to go grey. Especially with the cars like the NASCAR right there. So 1500 Black, 1500 Grey. And I got another 1500 Grey. Again, you can't beat Scale Hobbyist prices. These are $549 US each. So I typically have about 6 of these in stock in the black ones. Now I've got a couple of greys. And another stable to have is Tamiya white. White and black. And Tamiya white, just a plain old XF2 in the 23mm jars, which harder to find, but so much more value for money. The 10mm jars are about, I think the 10mm jars are like 50 cents less than a 23mm jar, but you're obviously getting 13 extra mil. So the usual, get through tons of this stuff as well. Tamiya white, you can't go wrong. XF2. Okay, what we got here? More paints. So for the Myanmar MiG, I don't have the main blue, so I wanted just a regular Tamiya blue. I do actually have it here. See, I've got the Mr. Hobby one, and that's all I have. This is almost empty. So I picked up X4. Crazy enough, Tamiya don't do an XF4. They don't do a gloss blue. They don't do a regular blue and matte. this color, which is unusual. XF4 is like the cockpit, World War II cockpit kind of greeny yellow, kind of mustard yellow kind of color. I know it looks a little bit too light on here, but this will work too. I can post-shade and pre-shade different specs. So I got the blue from the Myanmar. And next 4 is going to give away what the last thing in the box is, my next project. And I got 4 Mr. Hobby, Mr. Color lacquer paints. And again, so we talked full circle. So at the beginning of the vlog earlier on, I talked about my favorite lacquer paints, and these are them right here. So I'm showing you actually in closer detail. This, look, seed number, Mr. Color. They smell pretty bad because if you have a spray booth like I do, it's not a problem. Yeah, but just great paints. And just have every color you can think of. So I do have the what I'm pretty much doing is the aqueous, like I mentioned, the alcohol-based paints. As that runs out, I just replace them with the lacquer version. And yeah, so I've got 4 colors here, German World War II colors, like RLM 2, 7, 47, and RLM 75. And again, various Luftwaffe colors there. So I think that gives away the secret what next thing in the box is going to be. So that's my paints. Again, great paints, easy to find generally and cheap. Again, $2.50 I think, like a tub. All right, last one in the box, and it's still on paper. It's that new. I haven't even opened this box yet, as you can see. I think it's a very Japanese thing to wrap things in paper, right? I don't think anyone else really does it. So we've got a loose pack here, and Zukimura BF-109. I think, hopefully you've seen this one. I'm not going to do any kind of review because there's so many out there already. So many people have cashed in and done reviews on this. As you know, on YouTube, I like to keep creating unique content. If somebody else has created a video, there's no point in me duplicating their work. So there's other great reviews out there. This is the first version, just got released, and if you buy it now, the first release, you get this guy, which is a resin figure, which we'll look at in a minute. Also have a correction sheet as well. Surprisingly not inside the box. The box isn't sealed either, so I'm not sure why all this is loose. You think this would be inside the box, right? But yeah, that looks absolutely beautiful and very, very detailed, full of plastic. And what I'll be doing with this guy, I think I mentioned it before, maybe I didn't, but I'll be doing it fully open. So you even have pistons in the engine. You have all this wing spars, all the framing. It's all basically, it's like engineering. You're building an aircraft from up. So I'm not going to hide all that stuff. I'm going to have maybe one side closed, maybe the panels, but I'm going to open it all up so you can see all that framing. You can see the fuel tanks. You can see the engine. You can see all the parts. So this is what I'm going to start. Literally, I'm going to finish this video. I'm going to edit it, and then I'm going to start working on this guy. Now, shout out for my Patreons. We have the F-14s on Patreon just finished up, and we started a quick little 4-parter on the 16th scale Tiger. And what's going to happen once the Tiger finishes, I'll start putting these up on Patreon as well. So if you haven't done so already, you want to watch my content, early access, go ahead. Again, links below for my Patreon, as low as $2 a month. And there's tons of content. There's tons of videos on there which you haven't even seen yet, like the vegan, the 32nd scale Jetman's vegan, that went live around April-May time. So it's definitely a lag of a few months. This will work its way to YouTube eventually, but not probably till mid-2023. But if you want to watch, help support the channel and get some early content, then check out my Patreon. And yeah, so all those people on Patreon, again, thank you for your support, and watch out for this one. We'll get the Tiger done, quick 4 little parts on that one, and then we'll get straight up on this one. And that gives me some time too to start working on this. So I can start, like 4 weeks, this guy goes up every Wednesday. Gives me time to start working on this and get content edited and up. So we continue our Wednesday release. So on Patreon, I release every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern time, a build video. And yeah, so this kit right here, I'm not even opened the box yet. Maybe we should do a little look inside the figure at least. Let's see what we got in here. And this is the, so this is aircraft is, I don't know too much about World War II Luftwaffe stuff. So excuse my ignorance, but Hartmann Hartman is the pilot, and they've actually done a figure to go with the actual pilot figure to go with the aircraft markings which he flew. And there you go. That's a resin figure. His hat's obviously separate here. Really nicely sculpted. It looks kind of big though for 35th. But so yeah, that's gonna be awesome, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do like a little vignette kind of thing going on here. So I'm gonna do this all opened up, engine kind of on a table or something next to it, maybe like a workshop kind of scene, maybe him standing next looking at his aircraft. And I'm not gonna promise this, but if I get really involved on this, I might do like mini art kind of stuff and get like the tools, like tool benches, or the mini kind of photo etch like tools, and people like might go out. I don't know. I'm definitely gonna get it built, the aircraft first, and see how I go with this one. But a BF-109 32nd scale isn't massive by any means. It's if you can see it right there. He's off camera, but above my Harrier I have a BF-109. It's not big. It's so you can definitely do a lot of scenery around it, and it's not gonna be a massive kind of real estate space. So there we go. Let's open the box real quick. Just take a quick peek inside for the first time. See what I'm getting myself into here. As you know, I'm pretty much a modern aircraft kind of guy, but now and again I do like building warbirds, and my last one was a 24 scale Hurricane, and that was a year ago, so it's about time I build one. So there we go, there's plastic. Sprue after sprue after sprue. Again, you can get an idea of the wing framing. You get an awesome looking instruction book too. Look at that, paper and stuff, old school, very detailed instruction book. And I gotta say, these are a great price nowadays. In the world of 2022, almost 2023 modeling prices, this guy is $95 US, and I think for what you get for 95 bucks is not a bad price. Most 48 scale kits now are about 100 bucks. HobbyBoss stuff. Some of the HobbyBoss armor is like 100, 150 bucks. The trumpeter stuff as well. I'm looking over here. The trumpeter's latest 32nd scale kit, which I avoided, is the F-35 32nd scale. $162, reduced from 180. That's just ridiculous money for a not very detailed kit. So prices are getting a little bit out of hand, especially the bigger stuff. I think it's more shipping costs and stuff. But to find that Zukimura kit for $95, which that's anywhere you go, you find that price. Sprue Brothers, Scale Hobbyist, over in the UK, Hamnets and all the usual places. I'm sure it's all the same kind of price. Yeah, great deal. And I will be buying the Zukimura Wild Weasel F4 Phantom when it comes out very soon as well, next couple of weeks as well. That's looks a really nice kit. Not a Phantom guy, but I just find Zukimura is actually coming a really good price point, because they've kept the prices stable, whereas everybody else has come up. So whereas before, you know, $80, $85 for a Phantom was crazy, when you compare it to Tamiya and Academy and all the other ones now, they're all the same price. So this one I think comes in a mask set and all the rest of the stuff. So it'll be out of the box, no extras. And yeah, I'll get going that right away. So like I said, this afternoon, once I've done this video, it's now around about 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So I'll definitely get started on this one and filming it, and it'll go up on my Patreon for you guys to watch and follow along. And that is it. Right, so I forgot one item. So I filmed the video and it's like, crap, I forgot something pretty cool. So I'm going to insert this into the video, edit it in, and one item. Also, I realized, if you see it, I'm not a junkie. If one of my arms all bruised. Those who follow my channel know that I was diagnosed with cancer last year, and every 3 months I have to get blood taken for tumor markers and CAT scans and stuff. And as precautionary measures, and I'm happy to say that I'm currently 9, almost 10 months cancer free. So good news there. So that's, yeah, I'm not not injecting heroin or anything. Kits. I got this guy too. Pre-ordered this from, you see, I did a review of this one. Pre-ordered this from Andy's Hobbies headquarters. First ever one kit from him, and 16th scale Jeep. Just a cool kit. Check out my video review. It's really nice size, because a 35th scale Jeep is tiny, whereas this isn't massive. It's just a good size to build it. Some great color modulation, to a lot of scratch building in the engine area, maybe some stowage. I know Value Gear has some really well-priced stowage, but you can make a really cool little build here for a not very expensive kit. This one's $50 US. and you get the figure with it too. So I think create maybe a cool scene, maybe get a couple of, if you like figure painting, maybe a couple of figures, you know, this guy's talking to, walking down the street or something, or yeah, load this up. You get full engine detail, so you can go to town with like wiring it all up and stuff. I think it's also a good size where you can put lights in it. I think you could quite easily put, you know, headlights, LEDs in, or light the dashboard if that's what you want to do as well. Just a cool little base model to work on, I think, and a cool subject. And for a long time, we've been wanting the 16th scale Jeep. So forgot to mention it. So I'll edit this in the video. Now we'll go back to me in the past. I think pretty much explained it has always been pretty busy, and I've tried to think. I think that's pretty much covers everything. So again, thank you for your support. Thank you for watching as always. As every Friday, there's always has been going for years now, 2 or 3 years without a beat. Every Friday at 6:45 a.m. Eastern time, I release a build video, and that'll continue. We're gonna wrap up the A6, and then I'm not sure what's after the A6. Possibly the vegan. If not, it'll be something else. I can't remember the schedule, but yeah, if you want to catch all this stuff earlier, don't wait 6 months. Again, Patreon's a place to go. Helps me support the channel, buy these cool kits, and keep the lights on, that kind of stuff. So thank you for watching. Hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye.